Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Binky and we are here today, still moving along with Zoologist. We will get through this. Yes, we will. There are quite a few. I didn't realize that when I first started. I think I said that before. I thought there was like 15, 20. Oh my. No, I'd be wrong. Okay, so we do it. We like to do this. I'm really feeling this one. Maybe it's B and it's finally gonna win. Nope. Cockatiel. Cockatiel, I know. Poor bee and tiger keep getting thrown back into the mix. So this is just a little cutie. What do I always say? Love the artwork. There you go. So I do. I really enjoy it. So let us look at the notes. Oh my goodness. Okay, she is a beaut. I know, I'm really bad at whistling. I actually don't like whistling. And a fun fact, weird things that we learn. But yes, I just don't. I know somebody who whistles all the time in the morning. It drives me nuts. And so I'm not really great at it because I think I just was like, no. Very weird. So this is $175. And I was like, sure. And it won the 2019 Arts and Olfaction Awards winner. Well, congratulations right there on there. And I mean it. That's amazing. So Australian spring arrives bearing dazzling frocks of yellow blossoms to dress the bare golden wattle trees. Ooh! Zoologist Cockatiel, is that it? Cockatiel? Cockatiel. Was formerly known as Powder and Dust, a perfume created by Sven Pritzcollet. Sorry. You're amazing. Published under his own brand, SP Perfumes. Okay, so basically it's just explaining that. Normally it tells you more about this, but that's okay. I know, I thought it was going to be called Powder Down Under. It doesn't even rhyme. I know, Australia. Boo. Okay, so the top notes, we'll just move straight to that because that was bad, is champagne, raspberry, and rhubarb. I actually don't care for champagne scents or flavors. I know, but that's okay because this is going to rock. And then the heart notes are acacia, A-C-A-C-I-A, acacia. Powdery notes, cashmeran, okay. And the base notes are guaiac. Man, I'm killing it today. G-U-A-I-A-C, guaiac. I don't know that note. Patchouli, vanilla, and musk. So there's a couple things there that I'm not as familiar with. Again, I don't make perfumes. I don't know every single scent. Some people do. I'm not that girl. So there you go. But this one should be interesting. So actually, in comparison to some of the other scents, this one doesn't have that many in it. No, it only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And some of them have like 17, 18. So for Zoologist, this is pretty tame. Yeah. Nope, no smell. I don't know why I do it, but I do. Let's see. It always gives me that half spritz. It doesn't look like it on camera, but it really is. And you know what? I'm going to do this right here this time. Yeah, that's much better. So immediately you get that beautiful rhubarb raspberry. Ooh. Those top notes come right out because there aren't as many notes. This one's a lot simpler to decipher. There's two notes I don't know as well. I'll research them in between. But you get the very beautiful raspberry, rhubarb, and champagne. I don't normally like champagne much, but it works with rhubarb and raspberry really beautifully. It morphs together. I do get the powdery notes on it. Wow. Okay. So this is really strange in that it's not as sweet as you would expect. It's obviously sweet, but there is some kind of sour note kind of twisting it a little bit. And I don't know exactly what it is. Ooh, that rhubarb. That rhubarb, I think it's probably the rhubarb. Because rhubarb is, you need sugar in it to make it tart. That's why when you have rhubarb there's normally strawberry in it or something to kind of lighten it up, because it's a tough one. Mmm. Oh, that's so delicious. I know. It's actually making me hungry. I haven't eaten yet. I know. I'm like, ooh. Now I want some cereal with some strawberries on top and rhubarb. Yeah, it's actually making me hungry. It's not good. Wow. So it's just so tart and sweet and powdery at the same time. It's really not what I was expecting at all. You know, when I first sprayed it, it kind of reminded me of, it did kind of remind me, especially knowing the name, of a colorful bird. And the colorful bird, it kind of reminds me of the cage a little bit, not the musky smell. I don't even get the musk. No, if it's there, it's more of a white musk, so it's not like the animalistic kind of smell. It kind of has, because I have friends who had birds, where you clean the cage and you put the fresh newspaper down. It kind of has that, and you've cleaned everything up. It kind of has that smell to it a little bit. So you clean out the bird cage completely, no dookie smell, nothing like that. It's completely fresh, with fresh clean paper, water, toys, little eaty, with the little things they eat. And it just smells good. And the fresh fruit's been put into their little tray, and they're yum, yum, yum. That's what this kind of reminds me of. And you would think it wouldn't remind you of the bird. I'll say of one more time, but of the cockatiel, but it does. It reminds me of like a bird of paradise of some sort, or just a happy little bird in spring, and it starts twittering, and like I said, clean cage and fresh fruit and fresh newspaper, and everybody's happy, and Saturday's going, and you have the tunes on the radio, and you're cleaning your apartment because you're going out tonight. Bird's happy, you're kind of grooving, probably better than this, but that's what this reminds me of. Like, spring's finally here. You're not going to be getting any more cold days, and you're just like, yeah, cleaning up the kitchen, the tunes are going, maybe a little retro music, maybe you got a little bit of feel-good 70s music, you weren't around for it, but you don't care because it's good. Maybe you were around for it, I don't know, but that's what it reminds me of. There you go. It feels good. This feels good. I like this. But the thing is, it is really unique in that it's really this guy. Yeah, I had to shut that off for a second because the F-bomb was flying. Yeah, this happens all the time. It's a good thing I don't have kids, because they would be picking up stuff anyway. So basically it's just this beautiful fruity, it's this fruity perfume without the obvious fruit notes. And what makes it so wearable is just that beautiful raspberry and rhubarb. Oh, I am used to it being here. It's here. Interesting. So on my skin, it's very tart and sweet. Here, it's not. Here, it's more champagne and vanilla. More champagne, vanilla, and a floral scent of some sort. Yeah. It's mostly champagne, vanilla. Champagne, vanilla with a hint of raspberry. Yeah, and something possibly floral. Here, raspberry and rhubarb and champagne are the main component. But the thing is, they both work together. They don't work against each other. So, wow, this is fabulous. I don't know if I would wear it every day, though. Let me sit with it an hour, because it's such a unique scent, but yet it feels so good. I don't know. So let us think about it for an hour, because this is wild. And we'll talk about it. I hope it lasts, because this is really kind of cool. Okay, so it's been about an hour, and it is very sweet. It's still very much surrounding me. There's no way around it. It's a very, very sweet fragrance. Sweeter than I'm actually used to. And I like gourmand. But what I'm finding is that the notes, at least on me, out of all of the Zoologist scents, this one doesn't have the complexity that some of the other ones have. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just, I could see how some people would say this is a bit too much for them. I get it. So let's smell it again. Oh, so it smells like raspberry champagne. Raspberry champagne, a powdery raspberry champagne. Almost like a creamy raspberry champagne ice cream. That's what it smells like. Yeah, the rhubarb has definitely taken a back seat, and it was more prominent at first. And I actually liked the way that it was cutting through the fragrance a bit, but it took a step back. So, in case you don't know what rhubarb is, or you've never eaten it, some people, I mean, rhubarb pie is big here in the US, but I know some people don't, they've never had it. It kind of freaks them out. I like it. But it's like, I don't know what it's classified as. It's basically almost like a root. They come in stalks, and then you cut off the green part, and then you have to, because they're very fibrous, you have to cut them up and cook them, and then to put them in a pie, you mix them with like strawberry or some other fruit, and you put a lot of sugar in there. And I've done it myself. It's really tasty, but it cuts through the sweet with the tartness of the rhubarb. Yum. So maybe I'll make one this year. So really tasty. I really like it, but I know some people are kind of like, eh. So that scent has kind of gone away, and it's just that beautiful like raspberry champagne ice cream, because that powdery scent. So let's see how it is. That's on my body chemistry. We'll see how it is on the sleeve. Interesting. So again, it doesn't morph too differently. It's that, again, raspberry champagne, but it's a little bit more woodsy. And apparently that's the guaiac is what it's called. It's some kind of like woody tree. So that's causing a little bit more woodiness. But the reality is it doesn't morph that much versus my clothing like some of them do than on my skin. Yeah, that raspberry champagne is just a powerhouse in this. It's a powerhouse. So it very much is very, very sweet. I can see how this would be considered very cloying. I think it would be beautiful for summer, maybe late spring. I just think this is a scent that would kind of trail behind you and just kind of bring a little bit of happiness. Unless you don't like really sweet and cloying, then you'd be going, and then you move to the other side of the street to get away from that person, maybe. But I mean, I wouldn't care if you go, woo! But, you know, it also depends how it plays on your chemistry, but it's very sweet, very sweet. So what I'm going to do, I mean, it's still lasting pretty well right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in 4 to 5 hours, because again, I find that's when Zoologist tends to peter out a little bit. It tends to go, nada, you know, no mas. But every time I move, I can smell it. Pretty potent. But yes, so we will check back between 4 and 5 hours and see where we're at. Hopefully 5. Okay, so it has been about, I would say, almost 5 hours, and again, I always choose the 5-hour point. I don't really go past that. I think this day and age everybody expects a perfume to last 4 or 5 hours, which is really sad. We should expect more. This one's still going. It definitely is not as strong as it was when I first applied it. Not nearly as strong, but it's still going. I'm a hand talker, and when I do this, it's wafting everywhere. So it's still there. But I think it's a little bit, it's a lot more docile, so it's not as in your face, because this is one of those fragrances that could be extremely in your face. So let's check it here. More than a skin scent at this point, but it's getting to a skin scent. It smells like champagne with raspberries in it on my arm. Now on the clothing, which of course it always lasts longer there. Oh, it smells like raspberry. It smells like raspberry and champagne. The powdery is still there, but not as powdery as it once was. So it's more of almost like a jam. Yeah, it's very, the woodsy scent is gone. It's just very much a a raspberry champagne jam. And then here it's champagne with raspberries dropped into it. But you put them together and it's the same scent profile. So it kind of just goes hand in hand, and yay, it's all coming from this side. Very interesting because I have nothing on this side. So, wow. Okay. So I did a little bit of research with this before we talk about it. And apparently this was very different than the Zoologist fragrance, the rest of them. And the way that this one is different is that this belonged to I think the perfumery was called SP Parfums, and they won an award in 2019 for this one. It was called whatever it was called, the one I want to call Down Under. That's not what it's called. They'll put it to the side. Powder and something. So that was the original name of this that won the award in 2019. The person who owned the perfumery decided that this isn't what he was going to be doing any longer, so he closed it down. But rather than have this perfume no longer being made, which was his baby, won an award, he sold it to Zoologist. Victor bought the rights to it, from my understanding. And that way the original owner was like, my legacy will live on in my baby. This was his baby and he's very proud of it. And so Zoologist is like, we'll take it. So rather than, from my understanding, what they tend to do is pick an animal and then somebody to create the perfume, and then the owner and the perfumist will work together to create whatever animal it is. With this, it was more of, we like the scent, now what? So how do we put this with an animal? And here we go. The Cockatiel was picked. Now I actually think it was a very wise decision for this scent, because I don't know what other animal you could really put this to. You could be cheeky and make it a jellyfish because it smells like jam. Har har. I know. It totally wouldn't encompass it. That's just being cheeky. Birds have an interesting little scent to them. I had, like I said, one friend in particular who loved birds. They have a certain scent to them, almost like some of them have a powdery scent to them, which I get with this. And also the bright colors on a lot of them, they're just bright and beautiful and bold and colorful. And you're just like, it's kind of like tasting the rainbow. This one's bright, happy, and chirpy. So is a bird. So I can see how with some of them it caught more of an environment, and that's okay. To me, this catches more of the actual animal. Not that a cockatiel is going to smell like this. I wish they did. Keep them here and smell great all the time. But it's not that, but for some reason it captures the essence of the bird, but the clean aspect of it. You know what I mean? It could totally go wrong, and then it's the old newspaper that you're just like, no, this is the freshly clean newspaper. You're cleaning the apartment. It's really nice in there. It just smells homey and good. Maybe you made raspberry scones earlier. I don't know, but it smells beautiful and just gorgeous. And the little bird's flitting around and singing its bright song, and it smells this powdery smell, and it just captures it. But there is kind of a warning with this, and that I can see how people would find this cloying. If you don't like gourmands or really sweet fragrances, and let me give you an example, because I was thinking about this. This kind of reminds me of pink sugar. So if you know pink sugar, I'll try to find a picture. Boop. Pink sugar is very cloying. I don't know if it started out that way, but the newer versions of it, because they always reformulate, quit reformulating things, people, but they do, from my understanding, it's changed a little bit, and it's extremely, I don't think it is, I have a bottle of it, but I can see how people would say it's very cloying. I like pink sugar, but it's something that I wouldn't necessarily make my signature scent, because it can be very sweet, very in your face, and this one is right in that same vein. So if you do not like pink sugar scents or sugary candy scents or anything cloying, avoid. That's all I'm going to say. But if you like something a little bit bright and sweet and fruity and powdery with a hint of champagne, if it reads that well in your chemistry, I think you might like this. But This one is definitely one of the better performing of Zoologist fragrances. This one lasted a long time and is still going. It's probably in the top like 5. Also though, I will say if you like more complexity in your scents, especially when you're used to Zoologist having that complexity of, 16 to 19 components, this does not have that. And that's something that I will say about Cockatiel is that the initial spray had more rhubarb in it, that sour note to it, but over time that dissipated and then it never really changed. So it kind of stayed after the first 5 minutes, for the most part, right, very close to where I thought it would morph. It didn't. It stayed in that same exact bubble of what it starts out as. And that's really rare for Zoologist scents. This one's really lovely. So if I had to rate it, ooh, it's up there. I would definitely give this one, I've been giving a lot of them this rating, an 8.4? 8.4. And the only reason is, and I'm still going to buy it, the only reason I would give it an 8.4, I know everybody's like, can you just go to a 5 or 9? But the only reason I do is because I feel like I just wish there was a little bit more of that woodsiness or something to just cut through a little bit of that sweetness, just a little bit of woodsiness to it. It had it originally here on the sleeve, but then it dissipated. It's no longer there. No, it's definitely raspberry champagne. I wish it just had a little bit more of that to break up the notes a little bit, because it could be seen as a little bit, so even though I love it and will be buying it, I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more complexity with the scent. But it's still that being said, I'm still going to buy it. I absolutely love it. It would not be my signature scent. I think this is something that you would wear like in the middle of summer and you're going out and maybe going to the park or something, and there's a lot of air around you to kind of waft it around and not choke anyone out. So I think it's that type of scent. I would love this. To me, I see myself wearing this when I'm wearing a pretty sundress and just hot summer, and I'm like, when is winter starting again? I'm actually a summer girl, but ooh, it's so bad in the city. So yeah, so this is a beautiful, beautiful scent. I love it. It was not what I expected, but I had a good journey with it, and I'm still smelling it really strong. So thumbs up for longevity. This is the one. And so that was our experience with Cockatiel. And until next time, when we pull another random Zoologist scent, have a great day, my friends. Bye.